I'm looking. You got Illinois has been there all season.
That's the
Purdue's
number 2.
obviously the top favorite in the country. Having watched Purdue play and struggle against, they have 3 losses. So you're going to look, were they all conference? Yes. And who were they? Northwestern, Nebraska, and Ohio State. And when you look at those, you look at the stats. Now, Purdue had a lot of turnovers when they lost those games. But if I looked at the 3 of them, I go, okay, Nebraska, Tobinaga, I think is his name. He was hot on threes. If that guy gets hot on threes, you can look. I'm looking at Nebraska's already in their quarters, but look to see them possibly go to the final. It's possible. If they get hot on threes, they're hard to beat. Look, Purdue lost to them, and Purdue isn't losing to many people. Right. I look at Ohio State and their interim coach and their team, and they've gotten hot. I believe they beat Illinois in the last few games.
Yeah. Beat
Purdue. So now you look and go, okay, they beat the 2 top nationally ranked teams out of the conference, the Big Ten. Why couldn't they go right through Illinois and go through? Then they'd probably go through Nebraska again, go to the final. Play Purdue potentially if Purdue's going in there as another match. So I look at Nebraska, Ohio State, and then when I go back to Northwestern, I go to these 3 because they beat Purdue, and I'm using that as a metric. Beating somebody who's really hard to beat on all angles of the court, and they found a way to stop Edey. And I think Northwestern, I saved them for last, because if any of those 3 teams have had a chance at stopping Edey and causing a problem for Purdue, they beat them once, and trust me, you talk about nail biter. We went to OT in the second game. The second time we played them, and there's a lot of folks that say there were some questionable calls getting into that OT, and I'm a big fan, and I'll say I was kind of like, I don't know about this game, and if we play them a third time, that's trouble. And so what I'll say, my prediction for the Big Ten, long short here, is that I think Purdue plays Northwestern in this semi, and I think Western takes Purdue. And this is hard for me to say, but I think it could happen as Northwestern with Boo Buie outdoes Purdue, goes to play Ohio State in the final. And I think Ohio State wins. And I think Ohio State makes it into the tournament. I think they can do it off 3 wins, because they're starting all the way. If they beat Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, they probably get in. I think they're hungry enough.
Momentum up and to the right.
They play Northwestern, they make the tournament. I think that interim coach, something's going on there. When they beat Purdue, I watched a team that was so hungry. I thought, man, these guys are dangerous. That's my take. I know, again, most folks might say that sounds crazy, but hey, that's what this is. That's what happens. Right. And unfortunately, I'd like to see Purdue get there, but long circle, I think that loss Purdue takes Northwestern, sends them into the thorn in their side, and they end up going hot into the tournament. And I'll leave that for another time, but I'll go back to you.
I think that's what you want. After hearing how last year went and your outlook on conference championship, I think you're subconsciously rooting against Purdue in this Big Ten tournament so that they can get a couple extra days of rest. That would be awesome to see. I mean, Ohio State's 10 in the conference, right? So for them to go and beat Iowa at 7, Illinois at 2, and then Nebraska at 3, and then go beat Northwestern in the championship, that's a fun tournament, right? And that makes Ohio State a dangerous team going into March.